Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen of the social studies world, we have reached a brand new state, a brand new colony. Well, actually, all of those aren't true, right? Because we have built up a combined unit, a nation, right, that is officially one of its own, right? It is a country, it is officially a country, and now it has become the United States of America. So we now have a United States, right? And so obviously, we're going to be talking about what that looks like, right? What does a new nation, what does this new United States look like, and what does the United States do now that it has gained its independence? So there's a lot that's happening here because obviously, right, especially if you think about some of the things that we talked about at the end, how the nation is now sort of like a baby taking its first steps. Meaning this is going to take some time, right? It's just starting as a nation, and now it's going to take time to learn, well, how do you walk and how do you crawl, how do you run, how do you grow. A lot of things have to happen, right? A lot of new things have happened, and now a lot of new things have to happen. And so we're in a place where like, what? There's so much to do, so much that needs to happen, because now that we're an official nation, there's a lot of things that we need to figure out, right? So a couple of things we got to figure out. One is, if we're talking about federal versus states, we have to ask ourselves at this time, will the states stay united and say 13 states are together, or will they have equal one law for every state, or will it be one law that unites all the states, right? Because that's sort of it sounds a little confusing right now. Federal means sort of as a country, right? One giant country, one giant government, whereas the states are the individual states. And so what they have to decide is, will you have one giant government, right? One federal government that will make the rules for all the states, and they all have to abide by that law? Or will the states have their own individual laws and their own individual governments that will be made on their own, and that's how it would be, right? And so that's a big question, right? And that's something that they have to figure out, is how are they going to keep them both? Are they going to keep them both, or is it just going to be 13 different states, 13 different laws, 13 different governments? How would that work, right? And so that's a big one, right? How does that work? Money, and money, right? An issue that happens as we're talking about federal versus states is, okay, now that we have our nation, will we keep one type of money for each state, or will it be one type of money for all the states? Because maybe the states, let's say Rhode Island uses pesos, and Massachusetts uses dollars, and Connecticut uses rubles. I don't know, right? But what happened is you'll start reading and seeing that actually that's kind of what happened. Some states decided to have their own type of money, their own type of currency, and others decided to keep similar ones or not similar ones. But you can probably assume, how is that an issue, right? How can that be a problem when different states have different types of currencies? Will that be an issue? Will that be a problem? Or is it okay? Sounds like it's going to be an issue, because obviously we know that when we're looking at now, we have one type of currency for all 50 states, right? No one uses things that aren't dollars if you're not in the United States. Everyone uses dollars. So we have to figure out, well, what ended up happening there? How did they choose how the currencies were, and what were the issues that they had? Also, right, there are going to be new states, right? Because obviously the 13 United States, they're lovely as 13, but they also won a lot of land, didn't they? Right, from that Revolutionary War, they earned territories, right? They earned more land. They've expanded more and more land for the country. And the question is, okay, so what happens to those land? How will they be divided? Do they be added to another state? Will they become another state and be a new state? What would those states look like? What would they be called? What's going to happen to their government? Where are they, right? There's a lot of stuff to figure out, because you just won a war And so you just won a lot of land. The question is, what do you do with that land? What happens to those new states? Will they become new states? What are the rules for those new states, right? Will they have the same rules as everybody else? Will they be controlled by the federal or maybe by their own state? Will they be added to another state? Will they be divided, right? There's a lot of things that we want to know is what happens to this new land, which is pretty cool because it's a scene, whoa, it's not a simple situation, right? There's a lot of stuff that has to happen once it became the United States of America. And so it's a lot to do. Boom. We also realize too, this is a sad dollar because remember what we've talked about when it comes to war. Wars cost money, right? And so wars will take a lot of money, which means in this case, the United States of America probably wasted a lot, not wasted, but used a whole lot of money because they had to fight, the British, but also they probably owe other countries, especially the countries that helped them, right? Because those countries came to help, right? Those countries helped them, so obviously that means that there's some debt now, right? That the United States now owes all those people that helped them. They owe because of using all the money that they had to spend for guns, for spending for uniforms, for a lot more other stuff, including the debts that they owe other countries that helped them out. And so a lot of stuff to do, right? Like I said, there's a whole lot of stuff that whatever they're deciding as a Congress or as a Continental Congress or what's going to happen, right? There's so many things that have to happen, and they have to figure out what are we going to do to make this a nation that works. And so make sure you get your reading on, folks, because like I said, it's a lot of different things, but it's interesting to find out what was the solution that they came up to make all of it work, right? And so make sure you get your read on, make sure you read your highlighting, and we will do well because this is interesting stuff. Let's see what happens to our country as it grows and as it takes its baby steps, because I have a feeling this baby's gonna move fast and it's gonna grow. So, get money.